eau de cologne. "My darling boy, as handsome as ever. You haven't changed a bit." He could say the same of her. Mrs. Osborne, formerly Mrs. Fortescue, born Julia Hope Gore, had defied the passage of time. Her black hair contained barely a thread of grey, and her pale skin, though the youthful glow had long faded, was a fine setting for blue eyes undulled by age. At almost 50, she still possessed the beauty and gaiety that used to provoke the Dublin gallants to poetry. Julian, her cynical son, attributed this eternal youth to always getting her own way, and never worrying about anything. "Neither have you, Mother." He took her hands and kissed her on both cheeks. "How are the girls?" "They are well, but I've become an old lady in the years since you took the trouble to visit me," she said, tilting her head coquettishly. One corner of his brain registered that her bonnet, new and adorned with ostrich plumes, had not come cheap. "I beg your pardon. My affairs kept me from making the journey to Ireland, and now there is no need. As for the rest of your speech, it is too absurd to answer. You know you look ravishing. What are you doing in London?" "Are you not going to offer your poor mother a seat, and a little something to fortify her after her voyage all the way across the Irish Sea?" "I beg your pardon, my dear. Your toilette is perfection itself, so it didn't occur to me that you were travel-soiled." "As it happens, I arrived yesterday. I came only from the Pulteney Hotel this morning." "The arduous drive from Piccadilly must have worn you out." As he led her to the sofa and fetched a glass of Madeira, her favourite wine, from the tray on the console table, he wondered at this additional sign of prosperity. The hotel was one of the best in London. No doubt she would, in her own good time, reveal why she hadn't asked to stay with him at Fortescue House. Then again, given his home's meagre comforts and inadequate staff, perhaps, now that he was rich, he should move into the Pulteney himself. He raised his glass. "To you, Mother." "To us," she responded, "and the pursuit of happiness." Julian felt a momentary pang at hearing the old toast again. His father had been impressed by the American Declaration of Independence, claiming to greatly admire a nation founded on such an admirable ambition. Osborne, his mother's second husband, hadn't shared the sentiment. Julia set aside her glass, arranged her modish green skirts about her, positioned her hands to display their fine-boned elegance, and looked about the room, the ends of her mouth upturned into a bewitching smile. "It's a very grand house you've come into, Julian," she said with a satisfied air. "To be sure, it could use a fresh coat of paint and a skilled needlewoman." She poked at a hole in the French carpet with a dainty silk-slippered toe. "Who ever would have thought you'd end up as Denford? Look at you," she said. As he stood before the massive fireplace of Italian marble, "Monarch of all you survey, I always knew you were bound for greatness." "I'd be flattered if I wasn't a clear case of a man who's had greatness thrust upon him." It had taken the death of every male heir and a plague of female children to bring Julian, a distant cousin of the previous duke, into the title. Mothers, widows, aunts and daughters of assorted deceased Fortescues had protested heartily at this manifest injustice, as had their non-Fortescue husbands and sons. There was nothing they could do about the laws of primogeniture when it came to the dukedom, but they could and did object to the despised and disreputable Julian making off with the family fortune. Lawyers had been engaged, many lawyers. "Do you have enough money to live here?" "As of yesterday, I do. After interminable wrangling over 100 years of trusts and entails, my quarrelsome cousin..."